You might know our next guest from her work on CBS's hit series NCIS or Showtime's The Affair, but she's also become an outspoken advocate for the millions of Americans living with celiac disease. Please welcome Jennifer Esposito to the show. Welcome, Jennifer. Now, Jennifer, you wrote a book. It's called Jennifer's Way, My Journey with Celiac Disease, What Doctors Don't Tell You and How You Can Learn to Live Again. What is it that you don't think docs are telling people so people can learn from your experience?
Yeah, and it wasn't a slam on doctors at all.
Exactly.
It really wasn't. It was just, I suffered with this disease for years. Mm-hmm. Every symptom is about 300 symptoms with celiac disease, and I had all of them. I really did, from everything from losing hair to panic attacks to stomach issues. And I went all over the map. I went to every doctor, every specialist, and I would always get some kind of
all sorts of tests?
All sorts of tests, and no answers.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that celiac disease can affect other organ systems than just your GI tract.
Absolutely.
And you know, also, so much has been learned, and it sounds like you were dealing with this during a time where there wasn't maybe as much awareness.
Exactly. I was with a gastroenterologist for 5 years at that time, and he tested me for everything. He said
food allergies,
everything, and he would always bring it back to, I think you're just nervous. You have a nervous stomach. You have a nervous system. You're stressed. And when I was diagnosed by another doctor, we called him and he said, I just didn't think of that. And that to me is
well, that's a tough one to swallow.
It is a tough one to swallow because, as you know, the more you go without knowing this disease exists in your body, the worse it gets. Because, as you know, it kills the villi that is in charge of taking the nutrients from food and giving it to your body. So I was deteriorating pretty quickly.
Is it true that you were at it during a period of time, you were even being treated for mental illness?
Well, what had happened was when I was diagnosed, I was so bad that I was having panic attacks constantly. And I was literally jumping out of my skin, and I was being looked at to test me and follow my progression because I was so bad off by one of the best doctors in this field. And I said to him one time when I was getting tested, you need to keep me in the hospital because I feel like I'm jumping out of my skin. And I said, I feel like I want to jump out the window. And he thought, oh, you want to kill yourself? And I never said that, but I wound up being...
Well, you know, this is why I love doing the show. I'm learning here today from you.
Well,
I mean, I know
great.
I, of course, studied and learned about celiac disease in medical school, but I didn't realize that there's so many other symptoms that you're describing that I guess I can see how it could be missed if the GI symptoms were not the single biggest thing going on. Then the doctor may think elsewhere, autoimmune disease or even...
I mean, even skin issues or when I was saying panic attacks, because as you guys know, a lot of your serotonin is in your gut. So everything was off for me because my gut was so off. But there were so many other things. I think we need to look at the body as a whole.
I'm glad we're highlighting celiac disease in particular because a lot of studies have looked at this. Most people who avoid gluten are actually not people who are dealing with celiac disease, and they don't even need to avoid it. It's kind of become this catchphrase, this funky marketing tool, and it saddens me because there are real life people like you out there with celiac disease who need to avoid it at all costs.
This is why I'm so really thankful for having me on, because this is exactly what we're up against all the time. And I understand people want to go gluten-free because a lot of our food right now is so tainted. Sorry, but that's how I feel, that a lot of people, whether they have a gluten issue or not, they just feel better when they don't eat it. So I don't blame anyone, but when a restaurant or a product line is coming out and saying we're gluten-free, and then I ask a question, is this made on separate machinery? And they say no, or this is done in the same fryer. It's 1/8 of a teaspoon that literally sends me to the floor. My blood pressure drops, I panic attacks, I have a fever. I mean, it's serious for people like me. So. And
it's interesting, Drew, you mentioned autoimmune illness. In many ways, that's what it is. And but the gluten triggers that reaction. And I think, I love that you're talking about this because, again, there's so much misinformation out there about what this disease is, celiac disease. We'll have more information on our website as well. And I know your book is out now. I recommend people check it out.